connects with Carrier, who is twisted down by Lorenzo Lynch. A gain of about 7. And the Phoenix defense, which has been very stout against the rush in the last 3 games. Aeneas Williams at one of the corners. Defensive Rookie of the Year last year in the NFC. Up front, Swan, Bankston. And Rucker, as you saw the linebacking crew. This is the base defense for Phoenix. 2nd down and 2. Another pass play here for Tampa. Another completion. It's Carrier again. And he's tackled with the back arched out at the 39, a 10-yard gain. Sam Weish, 4-11, 5 seasons ago at Cincinnati. He led the Bengals to the Super Bowl, only to lose in the final minute to the 49ers, 20-16. Year 1 for him at Tampa coming to a close today. Reggie Cobb makes his first appearance.
Look at all the room on the outside or on the left side here. Looks like he's changing the play.
On 1st and 10, Cobb gets his 300th carry of the season, and it's a 3-yarder. He's gained over 1,160 yards now on this blockbuster 1992 year for Reggie Cobb, although left off the Pro Bowl team announced this week. 2nd down and 7. Bucks huddled just ever so briefly. Now they send Cobb over into a slot formation to the left. 4 receivers in all. Second down and 7.
He's changing the play again, I guess.
One-on-one coverage on the far sideline. It was excellent coverage by Aeneas Williams. He was blanketing Mark Carrier. So it'll set up 3rd and 7. And Weish sends in Courtney Hawkins, Gary Anderson, and George Thomas. And now with a no huddle. Testaverde back to the line as we look at Joe Bugel, closing out his 3rd year. 13-34 his record as the Phoenix coach. He has 1 more year on his contract.
And the defenses, they're playing 5-on-5. They're talking about lineman on lineman. So that should be a good run opportunity, too.
Ball should have been caught through the fingertips of Gary Anderson. Almost caught on the rebound by Courtney Hawkins. But again, the Bucks, well, they'll close out the year without scoring a touchdown on their first possession.
And we've seen them a couple of times on opening possessions, and they've executed well, except they didn't catch the ball like they didn't catch on this last play. It's amazing how a simple, basic thing like that can disturb the flow of an opening drive.
Dan Straczynski in the punt to Eric Blunt. Straczynski, a high kick. Fair catch called. And made it to 20. So Tampa Bay manages to pick up a 1st down. Then they're forced to punt. 38-yarder by Straczynski. We'll be back with feet.
Offsides, number 52. Penalties declined. Brings up 2nd down.
So they'll take the pass play instead. Chris Chandler, the former Buck. He was waived by Tampa Bay in November of '91, but what a turnaround year it's been for him here at Phoenix. Luis Sharp, May, Cunningham, Smith, Villa. This is an offensive line that's had to change many times because of injuries. Johnny Johnson has really been a workhorse the last 2 weeks, and he gets the carry here on 2nd and 3, has the 1st down out to the 35. Johnson comes in off of games of 156 yards, a career high against the Giants, and then last week 146 against Indianapolis. And an alternate to the Pro Bowl is Johnny Johnson. And there's Santana Dotson, the rookie, with 10 sacks. This is his 2nd game playing on the outside, playing at the defensive end. First 14 games of the year, he was a defensive tackle. Here's the base linebacking core, including Brown Lowe in the middle. Reynolds, Mack, Joe King starting for Fullerton, along with Marty Carter. 1st and 10 for Phoenix. Chandler fires it at the 40 to Prohl, and a gain of about 6. How about the improvement, Hank, this year of Chris Chandler as a quarterback?
Well, you know, that's really been a pleasant surprise for the Phoenix Cardinals, because they went into the season with the anticipation that Rosenbaugh was going to be their quarterback. Rosenbaugh got hurt, and Chandler came in, and I don't think Rosenbaugh is ever going to get the job back if Chandler continues to stay healthy and has played like he has played so far this year. He's taken over the responsibility with a lot of enthusiasm, great leadership qualities, and they expect great things from him in the future.
Stayed in the Valley of Arizona in the offseason with Jerry Rome as quarterback coach. He said that made all the difference. Turned him around. 2nd down and 4. Delay give. Johnson bounces off the pile. Picks up the 1st down. What a nifty move as he takes it into Tampa territory at the 49. Broke away from Marty Carter and rushed for 10 yards.
You know, it's amazing. You know, we talked about this many, many times. The great backs, you measure the great backs on how much yardage they make after they're hit by the first would-be tackler. Now, look at this. Look at the good hitting position. He misses the tackle. Reynolds has a shot at him, gets him from the backside, but never wraps him up. And he makes about 7 yards extra after a
good run. New England tackling high, trying to strip him of the ball. Randy Robbins is in there, number 48 for the Patriots, trying to get his hands.
Peters, the defensive coordinator for the Bucks. Thomas offsides on that play. Ricky Reynolds, by the way, pulled hamstring, being taped, and we expect to see him back in this game. An injury on this first series aggravated for Reynolds. So 1st and goal for Phoenix from the 3-yard line with 3 tight ends in the game. Reeves, Ware, and Roll. Johnny Johnson. Not this time. Mark Wheeler got there first, the rookie from Texas A&M, who they collected in the 3rd round. Good young talent on that defensive line for Tampa. Good foundation for the future, Hank.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about on the pregame show. These young players like Wheeler and Dotson, Duckins, they're all good prospects, and they have a great future, good foundation for this football team.
Call it 2nd and goal from the 3. The last 3 games, the Bucks have given up 11 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Chandler, play action. He's going for the end zone. Lost it for Sinners. Actually, maybe intended for the long receiver, Derek Ware, but incomplete. And no penalty flag as Chris Chandler goes over to plead his case.
The only guy that was open on that was a photographer on the out of bounds.
And he couldn't hold on to it.
That's right. He was too worried about his camera.
Sinners maybe had a little contact with Marty Carter. Watch 37 and 23. 23 for the Bucks. See that little hole?
Yeah, that's not a little hole. That's a big hole, and they didn't call it.
They're replaying that now on the giant screen here, and you may have heard the reaction.
Carter just actually pulling down to the ground. If that isn't pass interference, I don't know what is.
3rd and goal. 3rd and goal from the 3. On the rollout, Chandler looking, now going the other way. All kinds of time. Where's the pressure? Throws it to the end zone. Should have been caught. Should have been caught by Ernie Jones.
One thing is very obvious on the passing situations, they have had no rush. Talking about Tampa, had no rush whatsoever on the quarterback except that last play, and of course it took forever to get rid of the football, and he still didn't have any pressure on it.
Watch this, Hank. Ernie Jones usually very dependable with the hands.
But that's what happens when you throw the ball above the head, and in that situation they're hard to catch. He didn't see it out in front of soon enough and went right through his hands.
So a short field goal try for Greg Davis coming up. We'll call it 21 yards. He's made only 12 of 22 this year, but drills this one. So Phoenix scores first. What a long drive that was. They had the football for about 9 minutes and net a field goal from 21 yards.
The quotes are in on the all-new Geo Prism. A look that easily surpasses Honda's best efforts to date.
Phoenix keep the football for 14 plays, 8 minutes and 40 seconds, and net a field goal. Hey, the Bucks today have activated Mike Pulowski. He'll back up at quarterback. Vinny Testaverde, what's the word on him, Hank?
Well, you know, they're very, very impressed with Pulaski. They think he's going to be a fine quarterback, and they want to use him and take a look at him in game conditions as soon as they possibly can. They've waited a long time so far with this being the last game, but he's supposed to get in the game sometime today.
He's been on injured reserve all season. It's Charles Wilson. Runs it back to the 24. So Pulaski would be the first quarterback in if they make a change with Testaverde, or if the game, according to Sam Weiss, gets a little out of hand either direction. They want to take a look at him. But Vinny Testaverde returning to Sun Devil Stadium, where on January the 2nd of '87, Miami played Penn State for the national championship. Not a highlight at all in Vinny's career, but he did throw a touchdown at this very same stadium when he came back to the Bucs the first time to win a game in the last minute. Cobb will lose yardage way back to the 14 as Lorenzo Lynch, starting today for Robert Massey, makes the big tackle for a loss.
That was a counter tray play. They call it counter tray at Washington, and that's where Joe got the play, but it was a right guard and a right tackle pulling to the left. He's supposed to go inside. They had a block on the inside, but he goes outside. Containment makes the tackle.
Set up the screen on 2nd and long. Anderson back to the original line of scrimmage. We've got a final now on that Miami overtime game. Let's get back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim. 16-13 is the final score. Miami's Pete Stoyanovich 35 yards out. The field goal wins it, and the Dolphins win the AFC East if Buffalo loses at Houston tonight, Jim.
All right, so Stoyanovich wins the last 2 games of the regular season for Miami on field goals. Here's 3rd and 10, and oh, what a clobbering blow at the 30-yard line delivered by Michael Zordich. Pass intended for Lawrence Dawsey.
You know, one thing here, the defense was moving. Look at now. Watch the defensive back over here. I think it is. He starts to move. He's not quite sure where he's supposed to go. Really, they should have snapped the ball while he was moving. Now we didn't get the beginning of it. Had he snapped the ball before he was moving, why, they'd have had a big advantage on that side, but they waited for him to get to where he was supposed to go, and by that time, it was too late.
So Straczynski punting, 2nd time in this quarter. This is a good one. Blunt has to backpedal to the 23, shakes a tackler. Blunt out to the 38. He's returning punts today for Johnny Bailey. Bailey is out with an ankle sprain. Blunt with a good return. Phoenix leading 3-0. Allowed just a moment ago the longest punt return of the season against the Bucs. 16 yards by Eric Blunt. They had been outstanding in that category all year, and that now totals only slightly over 100 yards in return yardage all season long on their punt coverage. Cardinals with a 3-0 lead starting from the 37. Chandler on the mark again to the 44 to Prohl. Hitting Prohl with several passes of the short variety. Carter on the coverage.
Looked like it was zone man-for-man coverage, and again they had watch the defensive line. See, there's really no push, no penetration whatsoever. 2 of the 4 guys are standing on a line of scrimmage and get about a yard push into the backfield, and that's about all. You can't block anybody, get any sacks that way as far as rushing a quarterback.
2nd down and 3.
There's a blitz.
One-on-one to Hill, and Milton Mack was racing with him.
That's one thing about Milton Mack. He loves to play man-for-man defense. He loves bump and run. We still call it bump and run, but there's no bump anymore because people are fearful of the fact that if you bump him and miss, he's going to run right by you and make a big play. So it's run and run instead of bump and run the way they play it now.
I wonder if his...
Here they are. Look at the defense holding hands. I'd rather they hold hands and around the ball carrier and make some tackles instead of holding each other.
Better use of their hands.
That's right.
I wonder if Milton Mack delivers the goods with his snack delivery company as well as he delivered on that play. He owns a business back in New Orleans, delivers snacks to over 250 stores, heading back home later this week. Chandler may have drawn the Bucs off. As Sinners gets into Bucs territory all the way to the 45. You could tell the difference, the delivery with his cadence may have drawn him off.
Yeah, there was somebody offside. Of course, they'll decline the penalty, I'm sure.
3 times in this opening quarter, Tampa Bay has been drawn off.
That time it looked like Smith and Villa looked like spick and span on where they cleaned that
Defense,
hole out.
Offsides, number 52. Penalties declined. First down.
Spick and span on the right side.
There's Keith McCants, who, upon arrival in Phoenix yesterday, sought out first a manicurist. Had a little manicure on the day before the game.
I got to see if he's wearing gloves and make sure he protects that manicure.
First and 10 after refusing the penalty.
Look at all the time he's got to throw the football.
John Johnson to the 40, knocked out by Jimmy Williams. There's Jimmy Williams, and the final scores in from the afternoon.
Kansas City 42-20, 3 fumble recoveries.
Cincinnati closes the year 5-11 as they blow a 17-0 lead to the Colts today. Chandler is 6 out of 9 in this first quarter, driving Phoenix for the second time. It's 2nd and 4.
Look at the receivers on the right side, especially the outside receiver. Fumble.
And the football's free back at the 50. Recovered by Cunningham
Not yet.
for a moment, and then Jones has it. Roger Jones for Tampa Bay at the 30. I thought Ed Cunningham would smother that football near the 50. Somehow it wiggled out of the pile, and Roger Jones has the recovery. Tampa Bay set up at the 30 of the Cardinals.
Horace Heidt would have loved that play, wouldn't he? He always wanted you to follow the bouncing ball, so that was a great illustration of it.
Roger Jones finally.
Ball was mishandled to begin with. He backed away a little bit too quickly, it looked like, talking about Chandler. Now all of a sudden, there's the ball bouncing around. Instead of just falling on it, he did try to fall on it and still bounced out. Now it's bouncing around again. Instead of falling on it, try to pick it up. Finally did pick it up, and finally they have possession.
3 receivers to the right, no running back. From the 30, Testaverde in trouble back at the 40. He goes down. Reuben Davis, the former Tampa Bay Buck, gets the sack.
He's not very happy about that, is he?
Oh, traded during the middle of this season.
He was dreaming about that all last night.
Here's a look at Keith Rucker, a rookie who is starting on that defensive line for Phoenix. No huddle for Vinny, and it's 2nd and 19. 5 wide receivers on the last play. This one 4 receivers, and the running back is Anderson. One far down the sideline for Thomas, through his hands. He was out of bounds anyway. Dexter Davis on the coverage.
Can't cover him any better than that. The ball was just a little bit too long, but the coverage was excellent.
5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And Davis, who left Clemson a year early, now in his 2nd season. This could have been his rookie year in the league. We saw him make a big interception earlier this year in a game against San Francisco. 3rd and 19. Same direction, a little shorter route near the first down at the 20. It's Mark Carrier. They spot him out at the 22. That's 2 yards shy of the first.
There again, Vinny had a lot of time to throw the ball. Protection was good. He was able to step up into the pocket, follow through, and get the ball right on the money to Carrier.
It'll be 4th and 2. Field goal would tie it. That's the end of the first quarter, however, with the score Phoenix 3, Tampa Bay nothing. The second quarter, Eddie Murray will attempt a 40-yard field goal that could tie the game. Straczynski on the hold. Murray has not had a field goal attempt in his last 2 games.
And he's very accurate from this distance.
From 40, not this time. You jinxed him, Hank.
Isn't that the way it always is when you start bragging about somebody, then all of a sudden they miss a kick? He hooked it.
So it remains 3-0 Cardinals Christmas week. here in Arizona, and a lot of charity work put forth by the Cardinals. Some of them, in fact, had a fun outing at a local grocery store where they were given 5 minutes. 3 linemen were given 5 minutes to race around the grocery store and collect as many goods as they could.
Looked like Keystone Cop, doesn't it?
I wonder if they're speeding this up, or is that the kind of quickness they have on the offensive line?
Well, they're allowing the ticket.
Lance Smith, Bernice Smith, Keith Rucker from the defensive side of the ball. Look at them. All totaled in 5 minutes, they were able to walk out with over $6,000 worth of food for the needy.
And they were able to eat one of those hams on the way, throw them in the basket.
Yeah, during the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Another reverse. Pass by Prohl. Well covered and intercepted by Joe King. King with the interception into Phoenix territory, out of bounds at the 34. Prohl should have never thrown that one. He was going for Ernie Jones in double coverage.
You know, that's what happens when you have a reverse pass. The reverse guy very rarely gets a chance to throw the ball, and regardless whether the guy's covered or whether he isn't covered, he makes up his mind he's going to throw the ball and threw it right into coverage.
This is the first pass interception for Tampa Bay in 211 or 221 attempts.
Watch this now. You got plenty of time. Now he throws the ball, the double cover. Carter's down there. Look at that.
They had not had an interception in the past 6 games. 7 games ago in the 3rd quarter, they picked off Rich Gannon. Finally, they get one.
He and King are both back there, and he still threw the ball right into the coverage.
So King sets him up at the 35, and it's Cobb on the carry for about 4. Aeneas Williams on the tackle.
Anthony McDowell that time got a good block on a defensive end. Looked like one of the old blocks they used to use for the old Green Bay sweep.
And Williams made that tackle and was shaken up on that play, Hank. Outstanding young man from the New Orleans area who is going to be attending the Saints playoff game next week. Says he loves the Saints. I'm sure he loves the Cardinals too.
Yeah, well, he loves the Cardinals a little bit more now than he does the Saints, but he's second best on the hit parade.
Grew up as a
New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, young man. He worked concessions, selling sodas and popcorns. Shaken up a little bit, and we'll take a timeout on the field with Phoenix leading 3-0. 2nd down and 6, and Williams appears to be all right. But we'll sit out this play. Throwing underneath the coverage, Ty.J. Armstrong at the 26. That'll set up 3rd and about 2.
It was interesting what Sam said about Ty.J. yesterday. He said he was the most improved player in all the years he was coaching. Nobody ever has improved as rapidly as Armstrong has improved during the course of this season. That's quite a compliment.
That's a great compliment. This kid knows only one speed, he says. That's full speed. 3rd down and 1. Will pass for it. And they get it at the 15. Lawrence Dawsey has it. 1st down at the 15 for Tampa Bay.
That was a good pass by Testaverdes because he was covered well, and the only way you can complete that pass is to throw it right at the numbers so the defensive back can't interfere with the catch. You throw it high, it could always be a possibility for an interception. Now look at it. He's coming into the picture, covered well, but the ball was thrown low, so he was able to catch it. Even if he doesn't catch it, it goes right down the ground. No interception possibilities.
Cobb on 1st down. Only a yard. 1 yard for Cobb. Zordich on the tackle. Last week against San Francisco, Reggie Cobb outrushed the 49er team. He had 90 yards, which is pretty good against that defense, the #1 ranked rush defense in pro football.
Well, Cobb's a very aggressive runner. Good possession guy, makes good moves.
But so far today, 4 carries, 0 yards. 2nd down and 10.
Look at that big hole over the left tackle and left guard.
Fake to Cobb. Testaverdes rolling out, threw it in the ground in the direction of McDowell. Ty.J. Armstrong with a little disagreement near the goal line. Wade Wilson has thrown a touchdown a moment ago for Atlanta to move them within 14-7 of the Rams. 3rd and 10.
He's got a bump and run on the outside. Now they're backing off a little bit. Usually he likes to throw that pattern into the end zone.
They tried to cross him up. They handed off to Anderson. No gain. Maybe even a loss of a yard.
You wonder why did they do that? When Anderson comes into the game, usually he's a pass receiver or will run a draw play. That time they cross him up thinking that they'd be looking for those two plays, one of the two, and they give him a trap. We run a trap on the play, and he goes inside. They've covered it very, very well.
Hey, Reuben Davis, 93, having a big first half. The former Buck traded in October for a 3rd-round pick. Started 55 games for Tampa in his career. 33-yard field goal try for Murray. He missed from 40 already in this quarter. Straight away from 33, Murray. Oh, this time he missed it right. Detroit's all-time score. Longtime veteran Eddie Murray, 0 for 2 in this quarter. So the Cardinals cling to a 3-0 lead.
Can't be champagne.
Football. That was back in his days with Detroit. 0 for 2 today for the Bucks. And 3-0 Phoenix taking over at the 20. With Johnny Johnson. Jones has him by the ankles and hit up high by King and Broderick Thomas.
That was a counter trade play again with the right side pulling on the play.
There's a flag on the field. Let's check it out with Howard Rowe. He's already called Tampa Bay offsides 3 times on defense.
Personal foul, number 95 on a defense. Penalized 15 yards, first down.
So Duckins really upset about that one. That'll cost him 15. Watch him, Hank.
Take a look at this. Let's watch it again. Watch him right in here. Look at him pulling to his left. Goes through the hole. And gets a good block, gets good position, outside in position. He was a little bit high, but got the job done.
I did not see what Duckins was flagged for, but they bring the football out to the 40. Rhett Hall has replaced Duckins. You see Mayfield, a rookie from Oklahoma, is also in now for, well, actually Mayfield's on the sideline. Duckins out and Hall in.
And Reeves pulled that time from a wingback position. And the reason they do that, because they want to make sure they solidify the right side of the line by keeping the tackle in.
Ernie Jones is the 3rd receiver for Chris Chandler on 1st and 10. 11 minutes to go in the first half. 3-0 Phoenix. Johnny Johnson wants the outside. Thomas will not let him have it. Swings him down after about a 1 or 2 yard gain. Broderick Thomas, Hank, his numbers have dropped off since a year ago. Last season he had 11 sacks. He has 5 sacks this year. Last year he was the unanimous Tampa Bay most valuable player voted on by the team.
Yeah, look at the rushing yards by Phoenix, 51, -1 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Thomas, though, very active in this game today. He's made 7 tackles already. 2nd down and 8, and Mayfield has come in. He's lined up on the nose. Chandler to Kroll. Jones with the tackle. Short of the first. They need to get to the 50 for the first down.
There again, very obvious. No pass rush whatsoever on the last pass.
Chandler keeps throwing those passes underneath the coverage. I'm just waiting for him to go for the long strike. 3rd and 2. defensive backs in the game for the Bucs.
You got a triple wing on the right side. They still try to reduce it, but they still wind up with a triple wing on the right side.
Across the middle, center scoops it up at the 45 for the first down.
See what happens in that kind of a play. They have 3 people on the right side, which means they're going to have 3 or sometimes 4 if they double cover somebody. So the guy on the left side, so the guy in the backfield is going to come out of the backfield, break into the middle area on an option pattern. It was a low pattern. Had it not been thrown so low, he probably would have been able to make a lot more yardage on the play.
So you're a junior in high school. You've never played football, but one day you'd like to be in the NFL. Well, look at Larry Centers. He never played football until his senior year in high school. He was a bass violinist in the school symphony. Now he's playing for the Cardinals, who hand it off to Johnson down to the 34 for another first. Butch Roll this time delivered a good block.
Danny Villa, look at the right tackle now. Look at the right tackle on the top of the screen. Watch this block in there. A good inside-out block, knocks the defensive end to the outside, provides a big hole inside for Johnson to pick up the yardage on the play. But excellent blocking at the point of attack.
Already 42 yards rushing for Johnny Johnson. First down for the Cardinals. They go back to him. Stacked up after a 3-yard rush this time. Thomas and Brownlow met him in the middle of the field.
See, the great thing about being able to run the ball as well as the Cardinals are running it is the fact that as they go along, while you're going to get the safeties up a little bit more to help on the force and make tackles, and that's when the play action pass becomes such a very successful weapon.
Those stats the last 2 games primarily because of Johnson. 156 and 146 his last 2 outings.
Look at that right side. Look at all the room on the right side. Right receiver on the right side. Look at the cushion he's got over there.
2nd down and 7. Midway through the second. 3-0 Phoenix. Kroll.
See there again, Jim, that's what happens when there's always a possibility of that if you throw it above the head. You got to keep that below the neck, and if you keep it there, why, in all probability, you're going to make that catch. Look at all the room he's got in here, right in here, one-on-one. Look at all that. Look at all that space, and the defensive back starts running backwards as soon as he comes off the ball, so that area in front of him, that's like stealing.
3rd and 7. Chandler coming off his poorest performance as a Cardinal last week when he threw 3 interceptions against Indianapolis.
Now you got a shot at the middle again like they had a little while ago.
And he goes long for Hill, who's lost. And Milton Mack almost made the interception in the end zone. I think Hill got turned around a little confused, and now he's trying to appeal to the official for interference. So watch the tape. Watch the tape. Pointing to the instant replay screen.
Watch the lower left of the screen.
Was he lost, or he just held up because he thought for sure there'd be a flag?
Yeah, that's what happens if you start officiating the game along with being a player. That's when you get in trouble. You can't say, I thought. You better just execute and do the job.
Greg Davis, 47 yards. And not a chance, because I think they had a problem right off the hold, Hank. Snap to Chandler, and it was mishandled. Phoenix lead is still 3-0. 3 missed field goals by these teams in the second quarter. 47 yards. His 21-yarder, the only point so far in this game. Vinny and the Bucs take over at the 31, trailing 3-0. Screen set up for Anderson. Anderson will lose 5. Tackled by Eric Hill in the open field. The NFC wild card playoffs for next week. We know this. Philadelphia at New Orleans next Sunday on CBS. That means Washington and Minnesota will be playing on Saturday, but we'll have this one for you Sunday on CBS. The Eagles and the Saints from the Superdome, January the 3rd. Pass to Anderson out to the 36. That was second down and about 15. And on the play, they pick up almost 10.
And that was a good tackle. Good tackle by Hill, the middle linebacker, Eric Hill, 58. Watch this tackle. Look at this hit. That's a hit.
So a 10-yard gain, and now it's 3rd and 5. Near midfield, the connection with Courtney Hawkins for a first down. Chris Oldham on the coverage. He's in for the injured Aeneas Williams, third-year player from Oregon. Courtney Hawkins, the rookie from Michigan State. That was his 20th catch of the year. Anderson's the single back. They hand it off to Anderson. But that might be open for more, but only about 4 yards as Tyrone Stowe came up to make the play. Little piece of turf lodged in the helmet.
That's a draw play with Anderson. And usually what happens is that especially on a guy like this one, Anderson, or a guy like Sanders, normally the defensive people want to wait, take a look before they really rush until they're sure the quarterback goes by the ball carrier and doesn't give him the ball.
That was a 2nd and 6 pass play with Tim McDonald breaking it up in the middle of the field. Pass intended for Mark Carrier. McDonald came into this game hobbled, swelling on the knee. He was questionable.
Yes.
But he's here.
They said yesterday they didn't think he was going to be able to play, and there he is.
He was named to the Pro Bowl this week for the 3rd time in his career, McDonald. 3rd and 6. And Aeneas Williams has returned to the secondary for Phoenix. Left side, first down for Tampa Bay at the 38. Williams was on the coverage as he returned to action. Carrier picks up the first down.
Aeneas is in this position right in here, and watch the coverage on the play. He's got him man for man, trying to go downfield. The guy breaks out away from him, gets a good separation, and no chance whatsoever for him to make the play.
1st and 10, broken up by Oldham. I thought it might be interference on Oldham as he reached in on Hawkins to bat it away. This was close to interference, Hank.
Yeah, it looks like more than close, really. It looks like it was interference. He went right over the top and hit him over the right shoulder.
It defines interference. But no call, so it's 2nd down and 10. 6 defensive backs in for the Cardinals. Vinny continues to spread them out with the 4-receiver formation. Throwing, completing, Carrier. He knew where the first down yardage was, and he got it at the 27.
That time they roll out to the right that time. He's a little closer to the receiver, gets away from the pass rush, knew exactly where he had to go for the first down and made it. Watch the guy in motion going across the formation and then breaks out in the flat. There he is. He's wide open. The ball again, that ball was a little high again, and he almost lost it bringing it down. Had he thrown it right out in front, why, he might have made more yardage on the play than he actually did.
That was Carrier's 5th catch.
Now he's doing the same thing to the left side.
1st and 10 to Dawsey and out of bounds at the 23.
It's a hard pass to cover because you got a defensive back on the inside. He's got to be worried about taking him deep. And so you got outside leverage on him as a receiver. He breaks to the outside, gets the separation, and makes the catch.
Testaverdes in the season opening win against the Cardinals threw for a touchdown, no interceptions, 167 yards. Now looking sharp on this series. 2nd down and 6. Almost intercepted by Zordich down at the 5. That pass thrown in the area of Anderson.
He threw that down the seam, meaning down the hash, between the hash mark and the numbers. But that's one of his favorite patterns, and they were playing it very well.
3rd and 6. Two receivers to the right, 2 to the left. 2:42 before the half. And Testaverdes pass caught. A juggling act for a touchdown. Mark Carrier.
Safety blitz. He went right into the area that was vacated by the safety man. Got the ball right there. Bobbled the ball a little bit, but caught it and goes into the end zone for the touchdown.
23 yards to Mark Carrier. That puts him over 5,000 yards receiving in his career. Mark Carrier, last week he became Tampa Bay's all-time yardage receiver, breaking Kevin House's mark. What you drawing up here, Hank?
Right, that's the blitzer coming in here. We'll watch it here in a minute. See, he tries to anticipate, gets the blitz. The receiver goes into the vacated area, the blitzer, and as a result is open, makes the catch, goes in for the touchdown.
Murray adds the extra point. 7-3 Tampa Bay. Carrier's 4th touchdown of the year. Again, over 5,000 yards on his career.
Here's Carrier, and he comes inside, which he vacates that area by the blitzing linebacker, safety. Look at that. He goes into that vacated area, makes the catch, bobbles a little bit, goes in for the touchdown.
Vinny showing you that these guys care about winning this game, even though the offseason begins tomorrow. And here's a big run back by Blunt out to the 35.
And Vinny on that last drive hit 6 of 9. And there are 5 different receivers.
And there's the one who caught the touchdown. Carrier with 6 catches in this game. I was trying to point out that last week he set Tampa Bay's all-time record for receiving yardage, breaking Kevin House's mark. Carrier, a Pro Bowler 1 year in his career, 89. 2:25 before the half. 7-3 Bucks. Here now that Ricky Reynolds will not be returning. That hamstring injury, too much to return. Chandler to Kroll. Oh, a knockout blow almost, as Thomas gives a little peek at Kroll after the hit. Kroll bouncing right back up, surprisingly.
He really pounded him with that shoulder pad, didn't he?
Ooh.
So he had good leverage, good hitting position. Never tried to tackle him at all. He just hit him. Watch in here. Look at that. See, he didn't try to tackle him. He just hit him with that shoulder pad right under the chin.
And Thomas says you'll have no more. He'll stop right there. 1 yard. Well, at the 45, he got the first down. We're at the 2-minute warning with the Bucks having just taken the lead. Tampa Bay, 23-yard touchdown pass from Testaverdes, the only touchdown so far. Coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry will have scores and highlights from the day, plus the latest playoff information. But before the half, here come the Cardinals from the 45, 1st and 10. Sinners from out of the backfield for about 4. Jimmy Williams wrapped them up. What are they going to do here in the last 2 minutes, Hank?
Well, they're probably going to get a zone, and so they have to be patient enough to take advantage of the zone. They got 2 timeouts left. They got plenty of time, and then hope for a chance to get a big play on if they get them down closer and if they catch them in man for man.
2nd down and 6. Chandler launching it long for Hill, and intercepted by Mack at the 5. Milton Mack had excellent coverage on the speedy Randall Hill and made the interception. That's the 3rd turnover committed by Phoenix in this half.
He held the ball too long. Chandler did. Had he thrown it a little quicker, he might have had a chance to make the completion, but he didn't throw it far enough, didn't throw it quickly enough, and as a result, Mack makes the interception on the play.
his second pick of the season. We talked to Mac yesterday, Hank, the veteran who played 5 years for that Saints defense, and he really goes into the offseason not very pleased. Winning is the bottom line, he said, and his Christmas wish was to win this game today.
Yeah, I like what he said yesterday. He didn't talk about anything else. When we asked about his wish, he said the wish is we got to win this game tomorrow.
Said, do you miss playing for the Saints? Do you miss New Orleans? He said, the only thing I miss about New Orleans is I miss the food.
Yeah, he's not as heavy as he was when he was in New Orleans because you get pumped up in a hurry with that great food.
That'll happen to you. Now let's see what Testaverdes and Tampa Bay do with 1:26 left in the half. They go with Cobb for about a yard. Running into Eric Swan right away. Some season-long frustrations coming out. Ty.J. Armstrong mixing it up for the second time in this game. Reggie Cobb got the carry that time, Hank. He comes into this weekend third in the NFC behind only Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders in rushing, but he was left off the Pro Bowl team. As we see a timeout called by the Cardinals. What did you think of the Cobb snub?
Well, that happens, I think, when you're not playing on a winning football team. You see it very, very often, Jim, and I think that's exactly what happened. Had he played on a football team that won some games and won a lot more games and were involved in a playoff, he probably would have made the Pro Bowl.
In fact, you want to put him up there with the top 6 in the National Football League, including the AFC. They came into the weekend tied with Lorenzo White for 5th in rushing. All of the other ones have been named to their respective Pro Bowl teams, all except for Reggie Cobb. In fact, with a 141-yard effort today, Cobb would have set the single season mark for the Bucs, breaking James Wilder's mark from back in 1985. Has not really run for anything in this first half. Only 1 yard total rushing on 5 attempts. 2nd and 9 after the Cardinals timeout. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining.
So if he doesn't do anything here, they'll call another timeout. They should. Phoenix.
Cobb shakes a tackler and only gets back to the line of scrimmage. Eric Hill got there first. And there's the timeout called by Zordich. So Phoenix has 1 remaining. 1:15 before the half.
Timeout, Phoenix. Charge team timeout. That's a 40-second timeout and a second charge timeout.
There it is. Watch that move here and watch. He overruns the play. See, he ran right by him, but he got a little help with a blocker that time. He got just enough of a bump, and when you're trying to go straight ahead and somebody gets you from the side a little bit, you're going to be knocked off course, and that's exactly what he did on the play.
You've seen Swan and Phoenix a great deal, Hank, in the last 2 years. Everybody knows his story, having not played college football. Has he really come on as you expected he would?
Yes, I saw him last year, and I really very honestly didn't think much of him. I thought maybe that might have been a mistake. He liked the way he looked and liked his quickness and everything, but he didn't do much. He's improved dramatically, and he looks like he's got a chance to be a great player.
He was the 6th player chosen in last year's draft, 91 draft. Now it's 3rd and 9. Phoenix will get the football back before the intermission as Testaverde takes it out to the 9-yard line. Cardinals will not have any timeouts to operate with when they're on offense, but they should have good field position after the punt from Straczynski.
Now it's a question of whether you want to rush the kicker or whether you want to hope that you get good field position and get a chance to run it back. See what they choose to do.
Well, Straczynski, because of the hang time, does not allow many long returns. As we chronicled earlier in this half, the 16-yard return by Eric Blunt in this game was the longest punt return of the season against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he gets the flaps up high, flaps up in a hurry, and he hangs it up there for a long time. So it's, as you mentioned, a very good point that it's hard to get returns on it.
See that leg extension as he Gave a little practice motion. He says the key for him is to make sure that that leg whips around and hits him on the shoulder pad. His last punt traveled 56 yards, punting out of his own end zone with a 7-3 Tampa Bay lead.
Looks like they might go after it.
Blunt stands at the 50 waiting for the return.
There they go.
Another high beauty by Straczynski, resulting in a fair catch. You can make that graphic now. 24 fair catches on the season. Off of Straczynski punts. 43 yards on the boot. He got the job done. 101 for Chandler to operate with before halftime. Lynn Elliott has kicked the field goal for Dallas. Cowboys lead 3-0. And 2 field goals by the Chargers, who need to win today against Seattle to claim the AFC West. Since the Chiefs won earlier today, 42-20. 3 receivers in for Chandler. Sinners leaping for the first at about the 41. That's near the first. They may have to mark or measure for it. Well, Phoenix won't allow them to. They're right back to the line with the clock running. 40 seconds to go.
And they're playing with 6 defensive backs and try to keep everything in front.
Hill with the catch on the sideline. Stops the clock at 37. First down from the 35. Hill has not been thrown as many passes back half of the year, Hank, as earlier in the season.
I think he had a kind of a pull, and I don't think he actually really fully recovered from the pull, and as a result, I think it has hampered his speed a little bit, because he's really a lightning guy. He can really make the sparks fly.
First down, and again it looks like Tampa jumped. Flags are down. Kroll has the catch and backpedals out of bounds at the 31. Gary Lewis on the coverage.
It looked like maybe that somebody was offside on the play.
Well, they say Phoenix. Well, I think Howard made a mistake. Howard Rowe corrects himself. And Tampa Bay, for the 4th time in this half, is drawn offsides.
Offside. Number 51 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
There were a couple of them, I think, who jumped. That whole left side, Hall and Thomas.
Yeah, we had a double dipper on the left side that time. Both of them looked like they were offside.
Call it 1st and 5 with 32 seconds to go in the half. No timeouts for the Cardinals. Chandler waiting. It opens up the middle. Hill has it. Again, they have no timeouts. He has the first down at the 24. Pollard on the tackle. Chandler will want to set his team and then spike it to stop the clock.
You got to try to get one down. Yeah, he spikes it right now.
Stops it at 14. Well, if you have one more play in you before the half, I think you either got to, obviously, you got to go to the sideline or you got to go into the end zone, Hank. They have no timeouts.
Yeah, I would take a shot at the end zone. And if it's incomplete, the nice thing about throwing a ball into the end zone, there's always a chance of pass interference on the play also. And if that happens, then, of course, you got a great chance to get a touchdown or kick a field goal.
Hill and Jones to the left. Kroll lined up to the right. Chandler in a shotgun formation with 14 seconds left in the half. Pump fake. Now here he goes to the end zone for Jones and batted away by Mack. Milton Mack has been really on the ball this half.
I tell you, he's a good cover guy. He doesn't like to play zone, meaning that he plays area, but you give him a challenge to match on a matchup 1-for-1. He loves that kind of responsibility and does a very, very good job with it.
We asked him to assess his play on the season. He said, I did bend a little bit at times, but I never broke.
But that time, of course, he was in a zone. He was standing way back there deep, just playing the ball. He got a good jump on the ball once the ball was thrown. But normally he loves to play in normal situations. Why he loves to play man for man.
42 yards for Davis. He's been good from 21. He missed from 47. Oh, mercy. That was an ugly looking boot. It never had a chance.
I don't know whether the left foot is slipping or what's going on. That's 4 field goals we've seen missed here this afternoon.
All in this quarter.
All in the quarter is right. I don't know what kind of cleats they have on. Normally, when the field is a little sloppy like this, why you got to wear a 3/4 inch cleat on your left foot. But looking at the kick, his left foot didn't slide, didn't move. He just blew the kick.
Well, they may at halftime find out who's in charge of the cleats.
Got to find out who's in charge of the leg.
And Tampa Bay just runs out the first half, falling on it with a 7-3 lead. A field goal by Davis from 21 yards, then Tampa Bay's touchdown pass, 23-yard touchdown pass to Mark Carrier. So at the end of the first half, the score, the Bucs 7 and the Cardinals.
A song popular, the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B, means that Joe Bugle has to get back.
All right, rock and roll. Does that have anything to do with Butch Roll?
Well, they need a rock at tight end. They got a roll already, but they have to get the ball to him more often. He didn't catch a touchdown pass in 1992. He's got to be able to make big plays at that position.
All right, what's the bad rap that's needed for the Cardinals next year?
Well, Billy Bidwell has been accused of not spending a lot of money, and I think he's got a chance to prove that he will. He'll do anything he can to help this football team win. The free agency market is going to be available for him, and it's going to be important for them to aggressively attack that market.
All right, Hank's musical metaphors and solutions for the Cardinals. Now for the Bucs. Another mouthful. The Bucs need a supersonic Sasquatch Schwarzkopf. First off, supersonic.
I can say that word. Supersonics means that they need some lightning. They need some speed on the outside. Somebody will make big plays. Somebody that'll create a situation where they need double coverage.
Sasquatch, does that have anything to do with a Bigfoot? They need a Bigfoot?
Exactly. Thunderfoot, Bigfoot. They need a guy who can kick the ball out of the end zone and make long field goals to win close games.
In 93, Schwarzkopf. I didn't know he was available, but you think the Bucs need Schwarzkopf. What does that mean?
Well, I got a scouting report on him, and he said he's ready to come back. And so we need some leadership in the secondary and the whole defense, not from coaches, only from players. They've got a good nucleus, but they need strong leadership on the defensive side of the ball.
So Hank's solutions. Supersonic Sasquatch Schwarzkopf.
I'm glad I didn't have to say any of those words. I'm telling you that. I tried to tell Phyllis those words this morning, and I couldn't spit them out.
How long did it take you to figure out how to spell Sasquatch?
Never did finish that.
To kick the second half out of bounds goes Eddie Murray's boot. So Phoenix will bring it out to the 35. Four field goals missed in the second quarter. That is an oddity in this league.
It really is. And, you know, I was down in the field before the game, Jim, and I was surprised how sloppy it was. And I wondered at the time whether the kickers would put a longer cleat on their left foot. I don't know whether that's the problem or not, but they're sure not kicking the ball very well.
It looked like Eddie Murray lost his footing a little bit on that kick.
That ball takes off his foot like a humperdink.
Is that what it is?
Flying around. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Helicopter move.
Humperdink. I want to look that one up in the old Webster's. 1st and 10 from the 35. And Johnson flipped for about a yard as Derek Brownlow got there along with Marty Carter. What can we expect in this second half from these two teams, Hank?
Well, I hope it's not going to be more of what we saw in the first half. But I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers haven't had more success running the ball. They haven't tried the run that many times in the first half, but it looks like with the way the formations are reduced that they ought to be able to get some cracks in there.
2nd down and 9. Play action, Chandler. Here's a long one to Hill. And double coverage, including Joe King back for the Bucs and Milton Mack.
That's the second time they tried to throw the ball deep downfield, and both times they had good coverage on the play. King especially did a good job. It looked like he was trying to get a little push with the left hand, and nobody saw that.
Here are some of the first half numbers. Phoenix doubled them up in first downs, most of them coming on that first drive that led them to their field goal, where they kept the football for almost 9 minutes.
And how about Tampa? Only 10 runs in the first half.
Cobb has to come on in the second half for a 3rd and 9. Chandler to Hill. Oh! He was already looking for the angle to the end zone. He had several steps on Mack that time. And that's the second drop of the day by Hill.
Had his hands upside down that time, Jim. Upside down.
Well, that makes it tough to catch when you do that.
The left hand should have been up instead of the right. He had it reversed, and as a result, that's what happened on the play.
Remember, we talked in the first half about how ineffective he's been of late. In the last 5 games, only 9 catches, no touchdowns. After a blitzing start for Hill, the first 10. Rich Camarillo punting for the first time. Anderson on the return. Here's Gary Anderson. And he scoots across to the 33. Rich Camarillo. He was named to the Pro Bowl this week for the 3rd time. And look at his big foot, Hank, how he ranks in the National Football League, #1 in net average. I think the Cardinals may have had an idea what kind of season they were going to have when they put Camarillo. They featured him on the cover of their media guide to start the year. How often do you do that? You put your punter on the cover.
Well, they expect to do a lot of kicking. That's the one thing about when I was at Purdue. Johnny McKay and I were at Purdue. We didn't have a punter. The alumni did all the kicking.
Oh, I see. And the second guessing. And Rucker wraps up Testaverdes. Rookie Keith Rucker sacks Testaverdes, the second sack of the day. Rucker competed at Division III Ohio Wesleyan.
325.
And that's after he's been on a diet.
Yeah, that's right. Had he ate one of those burritos we had up here at halftime, he'd go up to about 250 or 350.
350. I don't think he'd be moving off that line so quick either. 2nd down and 17. 4 receivers in for Tampa Bay. Bucks lead 7-3. Scrambling. Testaverdes to the sideline and out of bounds at the 33.
You know, the defensive ends of the Cardinals are coming right up the field. There's a great big hole on the inside of those defensive ends. As a result, why there ought to be some good draw room inside of those defensive ends. Look at the big gap in there, and look at the big gap out this area. Look at the big hole. A lot of space to run those plays inside. Look at the big hole on the inside of Testaverdes. That's like a draw. He runs inside the defensive end and picks up some yardage on the play.
3rd and 10, 5 receivers in for Testaverdes, and batted away by Oldham, Chris Oldham. That was a defensive gem. He came right over the top without making contact on Courtney Hawkins to bat it away.
In the rush, the defensive ends are rushing very hard, but they're going beyond. The tackles are taking the ends way beyond the quarterback, so all he has to do is step up into the pocket and get rid of the football.
Blunt ready to return it back at his 25. Ed Brady will snap it to Straczynski. No fair catch this time. No return yardage either, as Wilson was down on the special teams to make the tackle right away. 7-3 Bucks, first 2 minutes of the second half. Washington coming back from 24-6 in the closing minute. Chandler to Sinners. He reaches across for the touchdown, and the defending Super Bowl champions were beaten on this field 27-24. Very emotional win for Joe Bugle. Giant comeback, big win. In fact, their 3 home wins this year were against the Niners, the Redskins, and the Giants. The teams that won the last 6 Super Bowls were all beaten on this field this year. Play action. Chandler back to Hill and way out of bounds. We have an update, so let's return you to New York, and here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim. Emmitt Smith 31 yards and a touchdown for Dallas. They've just added another to go up 16-0. But for Emmitt Smith, he secures the rushing title. It's the first back-to-back rushing titles since Eric Dickerson did it in '83 and '84, Jim.
I wonder if he came back. Did you see him, Hank? He ran right to the locker room with that. He got his rushing title and he went home.
He probably went. He's probably taking a shower now.
Getting ready for the playoff game in 2 weeks. They'll get a bye week next week, the Cowboys. We'll see him in 2 weeks on CBS. And now on 2nd down and 10, Johnny Johnson stacked up and back loses about 2. Corey Mayfield on the stop.
And Marty Carter came in there late, but got a good jump and made a tackle in the backfield. Here we see it. Good hit, and there's the shot by Carter, number 23.
3rd down and 12, and the whistle as the Cardinals come to the line of scrimmage. 12:53 remaining on the game clock in the 3rd quarter. I think the clock actually should have run down a little bit more than that.
Hold up. Reset the clock to 12:30. 12:30.
See how fast they can lose. 23 seconds.
Thank you.
7-3 Bucks. The only touchdown of this game, a 23-yard strike from Testaverdes to Carrier. That happened just prior to the 2-minute warning in the 2nd quarter.
And it was really a very good drive.
3rd and 12. Chandler's pass to Hill through his fingers. And Joe King was thinking about another interception. He's already had one today. Santana Dotson leveled Chandler after he released it.
Dotson, after being the under tackle for most of the season, meaning he went from one side to the other, or the man on the nose who played the nose, who was Wheeler. Now he's playing that defensive end position, and he looks very impressive. I think he likes the position, too, and especially likes playing in space.
4th and 12, and Camarillo in to punt. Jumps up for the high snap. George Thomas almost got the block. Here's Anderson on the run back. Only about a 4-yard return. Steve Heish made the tackle. Flags everywhere after that latest altercation. Some season-long frustrations coming out. This will probably be, Hank, one of those old personal foul penalties against each team, which amounts to nothing.
That's one of those boys will be boys penalties.
Joe Bugle has been a topic of discussion here about his future, whether he'll return. He has 1 year left on his contract.
We've got offsetting personal fouls. Number 22 red, number 31 white. Penalties offset. 1st down.
The Arizona Republic, the paper this morning, invited responses from the readers as to whether Joe Bugle should stay or should he be fired, and almost a 2-to-1 margin. The fans of Phoenix said, we want Joe Bugle back. And we'll be back after this timeout with the Bucks on the attack near midfield and a 7-3 lead. Hank, isn't that Elway on the right?
It looks like John. Yeah, it looks like John. He better take some no-dos. He looks like he's ready to go.
Here's Reggie Cobb racing to the 46, a run of 4, and run down by Eric Swan. Got to clean out the helmet after that run. That's why they can't make any field goals. Half the turf is inside that helmet.
They got a big patch right over his right eye that time with the mud.
Bucks have not had any success at all on 1st down, and that's an understatement.
Yeah, -5. They had -5. 0.5 on first and 10.
Oh, what a blow that one was by Dexter Davis. He hammered Dawsey after making the catch for a 2-yard gain. We talk about it. Punishing 2-yard gain. Dossey's fine.
And Phoenix on first down is averaging 4.5.
San Diego has taken the lead now on a Butts touchdown. They need that victory today to win the West over the Chiefs. 3rd down and 5. Across the middle and a first down. Was it caught? Carrier has it.
You know, when the defensive back says no good, no good, no good, that means it was good.
Well, it's actually going as an interception.
It is?
Or no, incompletion. I'll take it back. I saw a change of teams coming onto the field. I thought I saw Chandler running out there, but instead it's the punting team. So let's take that back. Davis got a hand in there to strip it away. That was a short series for the Bucks. Been 4 possessions by these two teams in this half, and they've all been 3 downs and out. Here's Krasinski. Blunt from the 10. Nice piece of running, and finally tackled by Fullington near the 25. 42-yard punt, 15-yard run back. Yeah, the tempers are flaring, and they could be in store for a big one if they're not careful down on that field. They better get control of it. 7-3 Bucks. And Phoenix has the football from its 25. Johnson for about 4 right up the middle. Hank, I talked about that public poll taken in a local paper. They say they won't bugle back the fans. We talked to Joe yesterday. He says that Bill Bidwell, the owner, has not talked to him about any future decisions about the coaching job, but your hunch is, and usually pretty good about getting a read on this, you think Joe will be back?
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. And I was impressed with watching practice several weeks ago. I was talking to Billy on the field, and he said, well, I'll see you a little later. I want to go and see my coach. And he walked over and talked to Joe, had a good visit, put his arm around him. And I thought right there and then that was a good sign as far as Joe staying with the Cardinals is concerned.
2nd and 6 and only a yard for Johnson. This team, Phoenix, has really been so close. 5 of their last 6 losses have been by 6 points or less. They could have won 5 of those games
very easily.
And Bugle also said the main thing, though, about all of this discussion about my future, the main thing is the players have made statements to the public, into the press, and that's rare in pro sports these days for the team, the players, to publicly support the coach like that. So he says, I'm at peace knowing how they feel about me.
And he should, and it's always a good feeling. The people that you work with and work with throughout the season with your coaching staff and players, they're the ones that you feel and hope that you sold them on what you were trying to get done.
That's a first down completion. On 3rd and 5, they get it to Ricky Prohl, and there's a flag down on the tail end of it. Might have been a face mask. Thomas indicates the other way. Let's see. Face mask indeed against the Bucks. Phoenix, Hank, today offensively, so impressive on that first series, but really not able to move it since.
No, they haven't done much at all. They really haven't. They try to throw a lot of long balls, more so than I thought they might, but none of which have been successful. And it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing much more aggressively defensively than they did in the first half. Don't you get that feeling?
Well, you remember the timeout, too, that Weiss took on that first defensive series. I think he felt his team was going through the motions, and he woke them up. Melted a little wax, as you said, Hank.
Yeah, he really did give him a little verbal massage.
1st and 10 to Johnson. Johnson into Tampa territory at the 49. Jones and King in on the tackle.
Typical of a screen pass. A lot of the times while you'll have a lineman up front trying to make a block, and he doesn't make a block, he misses in the process at that particular time, and he's a great player, Mark May.
Both of these coaches are very loyal to their left guard. Bugle with Mark May, And over at Tampa, Sam Weish and Bruce Reimers.
And justifiably so, because both of whom are very good leaders. They've been around long enough. They know what it takes to win, and they're a very good influence on the rest of the team. Look at all the room on the right side again. Look at that.
2nd and 2, and Johnson first down at the 44. Johnny Johnson has had 300-yard games in all this season. First one came against the 49ers in another surprising Phoenix victory. Having again beaten the 49ers and the Redskins on this field. First and 10.
Chandler's 9 of 11 on 1st and 10.
Now he's looking to throw this time. There's another completion on 1st down. It's Walter Reeves, the tight end. That's the position at halftime. You heard Hank saying rock and roll was on Hank's solutions for Phoenix next year. Tight end. They need a solid rock foundation. Go with Butch Roll, their H-back, or other tight end, if you will.
Yeah, if you don't have that, then of course you have an opportunity to spend a lot of time double covering the outside people, and don't worry about the tight end if you can't run.
That one is ruled incomplete. And they still have not completed a pass today to a tight end. So Reeves could not hold on. It's 2nd and 10 from the 44. Oh, that pass got away from him. Looking for Jones in the flat.
See what happened. He tried to get rid of the ball very quickly, and as a result released it too soon, never did follow through, and it sailed right over the top of his head.
Chris Chandler, who was traded. Well, let's take a look at this pass.
Yeah, watch it again. See, he hurries back in the pocket, steps, pushes off the back foot, gets a little pressure in his face, had the throw falling away. As a result, the ball went right up in the air over the top.
About to say, traded from the Colts to the Bucs for a number 1. It came up in '92, and that number 1 ended up being the 2nd pick in the draft. The Colts took Quentin Coriat this year with that pick. And later cut Chandler, and now he has really been one of the comeback players of the year in the league this year. 3rd and 10. He is intercepted. Talking about jinxing somebody as soon as you brag on him. That's the 4th Phoenix turnover today. Joe King with his 2nd pass interception. He started today, Hank, for Darrell Fullington, and he's come up big.
He's been all over the place. He's played a terrific game.
And you are not joking as he makes the interception. Joe King and the Bucs will take over at the 33 midway through the 3rd quarter. Well, Chris Chandler has thrown his 2nd pass interception of the day. Ricky Prohl threw one also. Testaverdes play action. He wanted to go long, and now he'll roll out looking for some open space, and he'll lose about 2 yards. That'll count as a sack for Michael Bankston, rookie from Sam Houston State. You know, the Bucs, one thing that they can go into the offseason feeling good about is their improvement on offense, Hank, in several categories. Last year they were ranked 26th in the league in total offense. Right now they're ranked 13th. You see their yardage has improved by 52. That's the best improvement in the league. Their points per game has also been the biggest improvement in the league this year.
And again, if they can get a fast guy, a speed guy outside, and some more speed really overall in their offense, why they're really going to be dangerous.
And there's Dawsey. There's a receiver with excellent hands, not afraid of the contact across the middle. Dawsey giving him a 1st down at the 49. Sam said we want to have a big day offensively, 400 yards plus, because that could possibly move us into the top 10 in total offense. But right now they're right around 140 total yards for the day. McDowell. Oh, he breaks a tackle, and he gets hammered from behind by Hill. But they moved it into Phoenix territory. So with a 7-3 lead, the Bucs are driving. And we have an update, so let's drive it right back to New York. And you, Greg Gumbel, take it away.
All right, Jim Nansen in Dallas. The Cowboys are driving the Bears back to Chicago. Kervin Richards, 3 yards and a touchdown. That boosts the Cowboys' lead to 24-0 in the third quarter, Jim.
All right. And what do you think the Mike Ditka situation is, Hank? Chicago.
I don't know. It's kind of stormy from what I understand. I didn't think, I still think that Mike belongs in Chicago. And I think if he's going to stay there, I think he has to have a little bit more control over the scouting department, be more involved in securing players for his football team. But I think that's a must.
That pass play to Carrier picked up the first down at the 36. I'd hate to see him chase Ditka away at this point. I mean, he, to me, epitomizes the Bears.
He really
has the look of the Chicago Bears, so he's had a couple of bad years. Hey, everybody goes through it.
Yeah, they have to. If the system means anything, why you're going to go through that, and especially, you know, if you don't raid some of the Plan B market and also free agencies and those kind of things, why it's tough to replace those good players.
As Reggie Cobb only gaining a couple of yards and then tackled by Steve Heish. Watch number 97 on the tackle, Hank.
See, no place to run. He had to run laterally, and by the time he got there, why then, of course, the pursuit came from the inside, and no place to go.
Here's an interesting story. Heish, we'll talk about him later. 8 carries, 5 yards for Cobb. And it's 2nd down and 9. Across the middle, looked like interference. Here come the flags, but the catch was made anyway. Dawsey made the catch. Zordich was the one who committed the infraction that will be refused.
Here we go. Here's the guy we're looking at. Here's the pattern. Dawsey is coming off the ball, going down. Zone coverage. He goes inside, and he just kind of drifts inside. Doesn't really run any kind of a specific pattern. Just kind of cozies his way inside, and the ball is thrown right there, and he makes the catch.
You've been giving that stylist a workout today. We must have sent you to Telestrator school this week.
Yeah, my fingers are getting sore.
1st and 10 from the 20. And in the area of Carrier. Talking before about Steve Heish starting at outside linebacker for the Cardinals since they lost Ken Harvey and Jock Jones. This guy was a 170-pound quarterback in high school in Alabama, then played in the World League, and to really beef up and play in this league, he had to go to eating 5 meals a day. My hero says it became a full-time job. I actually got tired of chewing.
Build up the muscles in his jaw, though.
Well, I'm telling you, he's got to be strong in that department. But he's bulked up and playing outside linebacker. 2nd down to 10. Over to Dawsey. He's taken a couple of big whacks on this series, but held on. It's only a short gain to the 18. Oldham on the hit. That secondary of Phoenix very depleted.
Yes,
coming into this game, Hank.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the other thing, Testaverdes has done a good job of getting rid of the football. Doesn't have a lot of pressure on him, and he's picking out the right receivers.
3rd and 8. Bucks lead 7-3. 3rd quarter.
Look at the middle. The middle is open. The middle.
Pass was behind Anderson, and I don't think he would have had enough for the first anyway.
Now, that was an option pattern. He checks and watches the linebacker. If the linebacker's outside, he goes inside. If he's inside, he goes outside. That time the linebacker was a little bit outside, and as a result, he cut inside. Look at all the room in the middle, though. Look at, see? Now, look at that middle wide open.
Eric Hill comes over. He saw it.
Yeah, but see, the ball was thrown behind the receiver that time. Had he thrown it out in front, it would have been a possibility for a big game.
Let's watch Eddie Murray now. He has missed on 2 attempts on this same end of the field, complaining of the footing. This is from 36 yards. Murray 0 for 3 now. And Hank, you said it at halftime. Sasquatch is needed.
Yeah, that's vital. Because it's very obvious, you know, when I was at Kansas City, we felt that we'd win or lose 4 to 6 games a year with a kicking game. Now you're going to lose 5 to 7 in the kicking department, win or lose.
7-3 Bucks. Two-time Pro Bowler, MVP of the 1980 Pro Bowl. It's missed from 40, 33, 36.
He's really disgusted. You know, he's a very proud guy, and he's got to be very disturbed about those kicks.
Johnny Johnson for a run of about 3. Thomas on the tackle.
You know, Eddie Murray, when he gets through playing football, he wants to be able to play on the seniors tour. He's quite a golfer. He's like you, Jim. Sweet swinger.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be playing on any senior tour, though.
Well, you'll be doing the tournaments.
You know, the thing that's a pity is that he's 1 field goal away from number 250 in his career. 249 lifetime field goals. 12th all-time scorer in the NFL, but struggling today. Came into the game 4 for 5 for the Bucks. 2nd and 7 for Phoenix. Santana Johnson has a fist raised into the air as he makes the tackle.
Yeah, he came down at a good angle and made the tackle, as you mentioned.
Young man whose father, Alphonse, used to play in the National Football League and was in fact drafted into the league from Hank Stram. By Hank Stram. Hank, you drafted his dad.
Yeah, we liked him very much. He was a good player for us. And here's Dotson. There he is right in here. Watch him, comes right down at a good angle, makes a good shoestring tackle. That's the first good tackle I've seen all day. At least they're not pushing and shoving and trying to push people down.
Dotson's father went on to play for the Raiders after being drafted by the Chiefs. 3rd down and 8. Sinners. Well, there's a great effort to pick up a first down across the 30. He broke away from Pollard and gives the Cardinals a new set of downs. No, hold on a minute. There's a penalty flag in the backfield. And it's going against the Cardinals. This will be the first penalty of the day against Phoenix.
Holding, number 67 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
3-time Pro Bowler Louis Sharp called for it, so wipe out for the first down. 52 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And Sharp has really been a very outstanding player in the National Football League for an extended period of time. Was with the St. Louis Cardinals, been in St. Louis and came here, and has been with them ever since, and has really done a fantastic job.
So it's 3rd and 18. Chandler lofting it to Sinners. They get the first down anyway. Out to the 38. That's a 25-yard pass play.
That was a nice touch on the part of Chandler. Watch it. Watch him come down in here. And the ball is thrown just beautifully with a good touch. A lot of air under the ball. See, he makes an outside move, comes right down the sideline, and the ball is dropped right over the top, and they pick up the first down. That's the thing that's really frustrating when you're a coach. You get 3rd and long like that, and then they come right back and pick up the first down. Boy, that's murder.
That's the longest play of the game, and on the last play of the 3rd quarter, Randall Hill for about 8. Met by Milton Mack. And we'll head to the final quarter with a 7-3 game. Our coverage will continue as we start the final quarter of the season for Phoenix and Tampa Bay. The Bucks lead 7-3. But Phoenix has the football near midfield, facing 2nd down and 1. Johnny Johnson easily gets the first. Breaking tackles inside the 40 down to the 36. Ridden down by Marty Carter. 17 yards on that burst.
Well, what a big hole. You talk about a clean hole. That was one. Look at the size of the hole now. We're going through. Look at this on the left side. Look at the tackle. Louis Sharp making a block on the defensive end. Big cavity right.
And they're pulling on that play.
Yeah, and look, but the key block is on the outside.
Johnson now has 75 yards rushing on the day. 1st and 10. We go back to him. He'll add to his total big time here as he gets to the 26. About a yard shy of the first. 9 yards and another good block by Louis Sharp.
And that was, again, the same play, the counter tray play with the guard and tackle pulling. And the hole was designed to go inside, really, but he jumped outside and still made yardage on the play.
Hank, we've got college basketball back on the air next weekend. You'll see Calvert Cheney and the Indiana Hoosiers against Kentucky and Jamal Mashburn. They'll meet midway at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Indiana and Kentucky next Sunday right here on CBS. And they've measured now for the first. They're short of it by about a half yard. "27 different players in uniform today for Tampa Bay."
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Only 19 guys back from last year.
Who suited up. 19 players back is all for the Tampa Bay team that suited up in the final game last year. 2nd down and 1. Johnson for the first to the 20. He gained 6. He's up to 90 yards now.
Take a look at the right side of the offensive line, staying with their blocks, digging. Defensive people are way too high, and as a result, why Johnson is able to make good yardage on the play.
Driving against the Bucs, who have lost 5 straight and 10 of their last 11. 7-3 Tampa Bay in the 4th. 1st down from the 20. Here they come. They hand it off to Johnson. Jimmy Williams gets him after a 3-yard run. There's another flag on the field.
See, that time they had a wingback occupied on the outside, occupying a position outside of the tight end. There was a distinct advantage there, and he got outside.
Holding, number 89 offense. 10-yard penalty.
That's the second holding call, Hank, on this series for the Phoenix offense.
No wonder he was able to get outside with a holding penalty on the play.
I wonder how many camps Sam Weiss will hold during the offseason. Last year he had 3 camps before training camp. 1 every NFL team is allowed. You also get an extra one if you have a new coach. But he also sent out letters to all the returning Bucs. Said we have a 10-day volunteer camp, opened it only the guys who want to win, and all but 2 showed up.
Yeah.
Those 2, by the way, did not make the final roster.
Yeah, very good way to put it, isn't it?
1st and 20. Johnson. I tell you, Hank, just don't see great speed from Johnson, but he always seems to get by the 1st or 2nd tackler every time.
Well, he's kind of a graceful runner. You know, he doesn't look like he's running nearly as fast as he's actually moving. Plus the fact that he's got good power, good lean, that hits the hole squarely, and he moves the pile and keeps making yardage.
When he was at San Jose State, they had some player defects off the basketball team, and he went over and played for the hoop team his senior year. In fact, against UNLV, he scored 23 points in a basketball game. So that's what kind of talent he has.
He's an athlete. There's no question about that.
2nd and 12, 3-step drop. Here's Randall Hill at the 15 and down at the 14. About 4 yards shy of the 1st. 7-3 is the score here. Tampa, let's get an update on another game as we go back to Greg in New York. Greg?
All right, Jim, in Anaheim, David Lang of the Rams scores his second touchdown of the afternoon, a 1-yarder. L.A. leading the Atlanta Falcons now 24-20. Meanwhile, at the Kingdome in Seattle, less than 12 minutes to play in the game. The Seahawks lead the Chargers 14-13. Chargers need a victory to claim the AFC West. Jim?
That would be quite a story, Hank, if Kansas City won the West. They came into the day not even knowing if they would be in the playoffs. They beat the Broncos and now could win the West if the Seahawks win, as Greg mentioned.
And just sitting home watching the game on television.
3rd and 4. This is a big one here for Chandler and the Cardinals. Here comes the heat. They won't get the first. McCants makes the tackle. That's the first sack of the day for the Bucks.
Watch this now. Look at the holding. They really give him a good pancake job there, but they don't call it at all.
Here comes the man fresh off the manicure. Keith McCants making the sack. So Greg Davis in for the point after. What am I saying? Field goal try. This is from 33 yards.
These kickers have put a lot of thrill and excitement in the kicking game, haven't they?
They do again. Another misfire. That is now what? 6 missed field goals in this game. The first one was made from 21 yards, which is virtually a point after. But since that time, these two kickers have missed a total of 6.
By Energizer.
Well, the Bucks lead 7-3. Only 10 minutes to go. The story, 6 missed field goals. The Bucks have not turned it over today, while Phoenix has committed 4 turnovers.
Looks like they might run left.
They do indeed. Cobb, who's found little room today to run with, gets about 4. Hit by Dexter Davis. By the way, Tampa Bay the last 4 years averaged 45 turnovers per season. They've only had 28. 17 less than their average the last 4 years. This year, and should they go the remainder of this game without committing one, they will tie their 81 record for fewest turnovers in a season by the team. So there's an area of improvement. There's 2 guys that would like to improve on their day, Eddie Murray and Greg Davis. 2nd and 7. Cobb, net head on and losing yardage at the 20. Aeneas Williams. Aeneas Williams in 2 weeks will be getting married back in New Orleans.
January 9th. That's what he said, didn't he?
Tracy Smith is his fiancée. They're going to have the wedding over there where it's Slidell, Hank.
Slidell, and we live in Covington, which is just about 20 miles west of where he's going to get married.
I thought it was kind of interesting. He wants to visit some of the veteran defensive backs in the league during the offseason. He plans on making a trip out to San Diego just to talk with Gil Byrd and talk about their position.
That's why he's such a good player. He wants to learn as much as he possibly can from the people who have been there. 3rd
and 10. Testaverde has his man at the 43. It's Anthony McDowell. First down for Tampa Bay. 23 yards on that play.
And McDowell, you got to like him. He's done a good job of running whenever he's had the opportunity to run. He doesn't run very much, but when he's run, he's done a good job. He's averaged 6.4 per try.
Caught a touchdown last week, in fact, against the 49ers. So the Bucks keep the football with an even 8 minutes to go. Leading 7-3. Right back across the middle to Armstrong. And he was covered by Lorenzo Lynch. Got some college football bowl action coming up this week, Thursday, 2:30 Eastern time. Baylor and Coach Grant Teaff. We talk about a guy who's brought up a lot of players to the National Football League. Grant Teaff is one of them. This will be his final game as the coach of the Bears, going against Arizona. And then on New Year's Day, join us for Penn State and Stanford. Talk about a marquee coaching matchup. You got Joe Paterno and Bill Walsh dueling on New Year's Day, 93 here on CBS. Second down and 10. Testaverde to Dawsey at the 40. Dawsey had to reach back for that one, and as he gets to the 36, Tampa Bay will have another first down. Lawrence Dawsey.
Look at the time on this pattern. Look at the timing. He makes a cut inside. The ball's thrown right before he makes the cut, right on the money, and a nicely executed pass pattern from Testaverde to Dawsey.
Look at that. 7 receptions today. That one went for 19. From the 36. Now 7 minutes remaining. Cobb stumbled after he got inside the 35. Tyrone Stowe gets credit for that tackle. Big number 90. He was a fullback at Passaic High School in New Jersey, Hank. This guy right here rarely ran the football. He blocked for Craig Ironhead to Hayward at Passaic High School.
Here he is. There he's making the play. Look at him. Comes off the block and gets a shoestring tackle on the play.
We hear now that San Diego has taken the lead with 5 minutes remaining on a Carney field goal. 16-14 Chargers trying to win the West in the AFC today. Second down and 8. Looking for Anderson. Big 3rd and 8 coming up for the Bucs with 6:02 remaining. Talking about Testaverde with Sam Weish. Says I took over the job here as the head coach, and all I ever heard was he's a bunch of knots about Testaverde. He can't do this, can't do that. He's not able to do that. Says he's disproven all of that to me this year. I think this is really a guy we can build off of. Of course, we'll be a free agent at the end of this year.
And I think really he'd like to stay at Tampa Bay. And I think, again, with the right kind of a supporting cast, I still think this guy is going to be a terrific quarterback.
And Weiss said we really need to get him a speed guy on the outside. 3rd and 8. Incomplete. Almost caught by Anderson. Now let's see what they do. This would be a long-range field goal try for Eddie Murray. You got to bring him out, I would think. Well, I shouldn't be coaching. 52 yards is what it would have been, but they're not going to try the field goal.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not with Murray.
So Straczynski will punt. Straczynski to punt with 5:56 remaining in the game, leading 7-3.
Now you see whether he's going to try to kick the ball out of bounds. If he kicks it out of bounds, he ought to try to kick it out of bounds to his left, not to his right, because if you kick it left and it slides off your foot, it goes right down the middle of the field. You kick it right and it slides off your foot, it goes out of bounds and winds up being a bad kick.
Well, he angled it to the right side, Hank. Got cover guys down there, but they take it into the end zone, a touchback, bring it out to the 20. Charles Wilson tried to down it at the 1, but to no avail. So the Phoenix Cardinals get the football back, trailing 7-3. 7-3 Bucs. That was the score at halftime. It remains that way through 6 missed field goals. 5:47 remaining. Here come the Cardinals. Great time. Chandler hits his target at the 42. Ernie Jones. Ernie Jones, a receiver who was on injured reserve in the mid part of the year with a shoulder separation.
Yeah, he gets away from the pressure. He's very dangerous when he rolls out because he's a good runner, and he throws the ball good on the run. This time he anchors, gets good base, and throws the ball outside to Jones, and they pick up the first down.
Jones' first catch that goes for 22 yards. Forced out by Duckins. Chandler will run for it and gets to the 42. Actually, the 43. They'll give him a yard on that. And who was the Buccaneer behind the bench? Keith McCants. So McCants receiving some help on the sideline. We'll keep looking in at that. I think he might have the wind knocked down out of him, Hank. 2nd down and 9.
Hope that's all it is.
Yeah. No catch. Tried to go back to Ernie Jones. Pollard helped ban it away.
When you move the pocket from right to left and also throw play action and also throw from the pocket, you put a lot of pressure on the defense because they don't know where you're going to be and where you're going to be throwing from. So it's a good diversion from throwing the drop back pass.
McCants is fine, Hank. He comes back in a play later.
He's really excited about seeing that Sugar Bowl game, isn't he?
Yeah, he's planning on being on the sideline with his Alabama Crimson Tide friends and former teammates next Friday when Alabama and Miami square off for the national championship. Big play here. 3rd and 9. Flag is down and overthrowing Hill. This looks like it might be a holding call against Phoenix. They've already been flagged for 2 of them in the second half. Backfield and motion penalty against Phoenix.
Illegal motion, number 81 on the offense. Penalties decline. Brings up 4th down.
This game is presented by the authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Phoenix Cardinals, and the National Football League is prohibited.
Thank you, Hank. Now, I got a question for you. Who would ever want to rebroadcast this? There's the kick by Camarillo. What an athletic job by Camarillo just to bring it down and kick it away. And it's traveling to the 24. A 32-yard punt. Camarillo chased that one down. The Bucs get the football, and they have that 7-3 lead. Around for 12 years out of Washington. Punted for New England in the Super Bowl game against the Bears some 7 years back. Wild card action next weekend on CBS. We'll have the Philadelphia Eagles at New Orleans game. And it all gets started with the NFL today, the last word before kickoff. They met week 1 in the season, Hank, and the Eagles won 15-13 at the vet.
Yeah, it was a dogfight. It was a dogfight all the way. The Saints had a chance to win the game, but I think basically Philadelphia kind of dominated the game with their great defense. But I think it's going to be a terrific game. Both teams are very, very solid and strong defensively. I think, however, that if the Saints have any kind of an edge, it's in the kicking game with Morton Anderson and Barnhart. Both of them are doing a fantastic job.
Anthony McDowell got the carry on 1st down, picked up about 3. We'll call it 2nd and 7. And San Diego, trailing by a point going into the 4th, now leads by 9 with 3 minutes to go. Looks like the Chargers, not over yet, but looks like they will win the West.
And they got to wait till the clock gets down to about 5 seconds before they snap the ball, take as much time off the clock as they possibly can.
Testaverdes fires a bullet and a strike to McDowell for a 1st down out at the 40. 15 yards on that play.
You know, Testaverdes looks like he's gained an awful lot of poise and confidence this year. I have the feeling that every time I see him, he's getting better and better. I think he's got better control of the team, better control of the huddle, and I think given the opportunity to throw the ball, has plenty of time. I don't think there's anybody better, could be any better than this guy.
This is, again, the last game of a 6-year, $8 million plus contract. And he will be, it looks like after the news this week, a total free agent at the end of the season. Hank, you think he'll stay in Tampa, don't you?
Yes, I think he'd like to stay in Tampa, unless the pictures of the dead presidents turn out to be greater someplace else. You know?
The what? The pictures of the dead presidents. Talking about the dollar bills?
Yep.
First down, that play to Cobb, and a loss of about a yard. Got to keep an eye on the clock now. 2:30 to go. And a whistle. Phoenix calls its first timeout. They're left with 2.
And I think this is a great illustration of the kind of confidence that Sam had.
2nd and 10. Firing and intercepted. Out to the 38, Aeneas Williams.
Well, that's what you didn't want to see happen, but it happened.
Vinny wanted his receiver to come back to the football, but it was the defender instead. Williams' 3rd pick of the year. And first Tampa Bay turnover. That kills their chance to tie their all-time record for fewest turnovers by the team in the season. This guy had 6 picks last year, number 35. This is his 3rd of the season. 2nd-year player, Aeneas Williams.
See, he has to escape, and he throws the ball on the run. And it turns out to be a bad pass because the defensive guy had a bigger jump on the ball than the offensive receiver.
2:22 remaining. Sidearms it over to Centers. Running up the middle of the field into the 47. 47 of Tampa, that is. 16 yards. They'll run it down to the 2-minute warning. 92.
Well, the same is true of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're the same situation. They've had some chances that way too and lost them, but they also have to find a way and understand what it takes to win.
5 of the last 6 losses for the Cardinals by 6 or less. First down with 2 minutes to go, trailing 7-3. Chandler. No Cardinal back there. This could be picked. It is. Interception by the Bucs. Gary Lewis. Only his 2nd career interception. His first came in the AFC title game for the Raiders back in 1990. And now he has his first as a member of the Bucs. Only his 2nd in his career. Ernie Jones, the intended receiver, fell down way back at the 20.
Yeah, I'm surprised he threw the ball. He fell down, and there wasn't anybody back there in the end zone where he made the interception. Nobody whatsoever except the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That is the 5th turnover of the day against Phoenix. 4 interceptions in all by the Tampa Bay defense that had gone almost 7 games without a pick. They have 4 today.
Nobody there whatsoever.
Jones actually did not fall down. He was just standing around at the 20. Thomas came in and threw Chandler to the turf after the pass. Here's a run for the Bucs. McDowell for about 3 and a quick timeout. I think I heard a whistle. It's Ty J. Armstrong. They're always beating up on Ty J. Armstrong or getting into an altercation with him. We heard about at practice. He's the guy, too, that's always going full speed. And a lot of guys don't like practicing with him.
That disturbs a lot of his teammates, and as a result, they have a lot of problems in practice for the same reason.
So 1 timeout to go for the Cardinals with 1:44 remaining. Here's Ty J. Vinny gives him a playful pat. They appreciate his hustle. Dave Moore has come in to replace Armstrong at tight end. No chance at all, Hank, that this game would affect Bugle's future. It was not a must-win situation.
No, I don't think so. I think it would be a big mistake to make any kind of a change here. I think they were able to accumulate some fine young talent, and I think that talent's going to grow and develop. I think both of these teams are very similar in a lot of regards with regard to the kind of year they had, the kind of potential they have in the future. I think the Phoenix Cardinals finally have gotten to a point where they're going into a season next year with the understanding that they have a starting quarterback in Chandler.
You saw the sign. McDonald will be a free agent at the end of this season also. 2nd and 7. And just a 2-yard run for Cobb in the last timeout. Whistle for the... Also want to mention all season long. The effort down in the truck. Deb Gelman. Superb. Paul Newman. So 3rd and 5. Bucks with a first down could close it out, and too steep for Dawsey. Aeneas Williams put the hit on after the pass went through the fingertips. The Cardinals get the football back.
That's the first time I had the feeling that he kind of aimed the ball, kind of steered the ball. He was a little bit fearful, wanted to make sure he got there and threw it over the top. But if you're going to be wrong, you better be wrong long and not short.
1:36 remaining. Phoenix, without a timeout, will get another chance.
Now see if they go after the block or whether they're going to let him return it and hope they can get good field position and go from there.
Fair catch by Blunt at the 40. 1:28 remaining. Here comes Chris Chandler from the shotgun. Dumping it off short to Centers. Centers jukes one defender, gets to the 50, then backed up. They'll give him forward progress to the 50. That's a 9-yard gain.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like that call because it took a lot of time off the clock. They're going to keep everybody in front of them.
As we approach a minute to go, 7-3 Tampa Bay. Chandler, picked off. Roger Jones read it all the way.
And he was the only guy open on that sideline too. He was there.
He would have been gone, Hank, all the way.
He would register to change to the scoreboard had he caught that pass.
Well,
started to run, I think, before he caught it.
3rd and 1. Oh, they run it. Remember, no timeouts. They got the first. Centers to the 41. They had to get the new set of downs. Had to assure themselves of that. Look at Phoenix trying to get the Tampa Bay players off the pile and onto their feet. Tampa Bay in no hurry to get into defensive position.
Good move on the part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Keith McCants took his time. The clock is operating at 40 seconds to go from the 41 of the Bucks.
That's bullshit. You got the...
Randall Hill holds on at the 24. Now they must hurry up. 18 yards on that one. 25 seconds. Chandler, you don't have any timeouts, Chris.
He doesn't know he doesn't have any timeouts. He's got to dump the ball off. Let's see. There it is.
Well, there was a Tampa Bay player offside, still in the backfield. Could have almost intercepted the spike.
Offside, number 95 defense.
So Duckins,
5 yards.
since he didn't get back in time, they call him for the 5 yards. Hey, we got a thrilling finish here, Hank.
Yeah,
with 17 seconds to go. 17, of course, the jersey number of the quarterback. See if that all adds up.
Look at that middle.
Chandler looking, cannot afford to be sacked. Here's the throw, incomplete. At the 10, or at the 5-yard line with 10 seconds to go.
Hope for a big play.
Chandler really took a blow. I think Rhett Hall hit him, Hank. And Tim Rosenbaugh, who's...
Take a shot and then come back, you have another shot. To get another shot in the event that he doesn't score.
10 seconds to go. Tampa leads 7-3. Rosenbaugh in for his first play. Rosenbaugh looking, firing toward the end zone. Is it ruled an interception? That's Milton Mack with the football.
I don't know.
And they rule it incomplete. They say he caught it out of bounds. He was out of the end zone.
Well, they went to the obvious guy. That was Hill. I thought maybe they'd go the other way, the Prohl, but they went to Hill. and almost had the thing intercepted. So now they got 3 seconds, one more shot left for the touchdown.
Now an overrule on the field. On the field, they have changed their mind. They're giving Mack the interception.
Ruling on the field. Pass was intercepted in the end zone. Ruling on the field is a touchback, first down.
Tell you, the replay showed Mack out of bounds, I thought, Hank.
Well, I did too. I thought it was out of bounds. I did exactly the same thing.
As we all know, no instant replay rule this year in the NFL. So that will close it out. Rosenbaugh comes in, fires the interception. Thought we might have a chance for one last play, one last throw at the end zone to close out the year for these two teams. Instead, one snap and the Bucs will go home with a win. 6 turnovers today by Phoenix.
And Sam kept talking about it yesterday. Said we got to win this game. We got to win the game. And after about 2 weeks, I'll be ready for a new season to start.
It wasn't pretty, but they can head into the offseason. They can travel back to Florida with a victory. W number 5 on the year, 5-11. Sam Weish closes out his first year as the coach of the Bucs. Joe Bugle and the Cardinals finish at 4-12. 7-3. Tampa Bay has won today to close out the regular season.
Nicodome, nicotine trap.